5 this year, the nation's flag carrier Zambia Airways spread its wings further afield and flew to America. Leaving the Lusaka International Airport, the DC-10 aircraft, better known as the Nkwazi, was to make a refueling stopover in Monrovia, Liberia, before its destination, John F. Kennedy International Airport in New York. The Minister of Power, Transport and Communications, General Kingsley Chinkuli, who was on flight, was very optimistic.
I reckon that this flight to JFK is a major breakthrough on our part. A major breakthrough because never in the history of the independent states of Southern Africa have we had such an achievement. And naturally, we are very proud of it.
The Nkwazi entered service on August 3, 1984. As a long-range aircraft, its major destinations have been London, Frankfurt and Rome. The New York flight is the latest and comes after years of meticulous planning. Passengers on this flight were able to sample and enjoy Zambian hospitality from the care and attention given by the cabin crew. Always willing to serve and assist, the hostesses and stewards make the flight a pleasure. The Nkwazi can carry up to 230 passengers. It has 175 seats in the popular economy class, 33 in the Sable business class, and 22 in the 5-star quality first class cabin. Delicious food and a variety of drinks are served on board. There are 8 audio channels for music, information and entertainment. In-flight films are also a regular feature. After 14 hours of travel, the Nkwazi arrived in America. Captain Alex Sakala told the passengers, who were all looking out through the windows, that the imposing structures they were seeing below were part of the Manhattan skyline. A few minutes later, he brought the aircraft to a safe landing at one of America's busiest airports, John F. Kennedy International Airport. April 26 was a unique day for Zambia Airways and New York. The coming of the Nkwazi to the Big Apple was heralded by the throbbing drums of the Chitwansombo Royal Drummers. To launch the New York service was the Minister of Transport, Power and Communications, General Kingsley Chinkuli, who was leading a delegation of ministers and government officials. Tourism Minister Leonard Subulwa and Commerce and Industry Minister of State Mulondo Muzungu accompanied General Chinkuli. Zambia Airways Managing Director Captain Godfrey Mulondika was in the delegation with a team of airline officials from Zambia and North America. For 15 minutes, the airport had a rare treat from the rich tradition of Zambian culture. The Chitwansombo and the Maramba Cultural Troupe of Livingston put up a mesmerizing performance that will be long remembered by New Yorkers and travelers who saw it. Mr. James Harding, the advisor to the mayor of the city of New York, had a special message from the mayor of the Zambian delegation.
City of New York. Good morning. Welcome to New York. Is this your first trip here, or?
No, I was here last 75.
Oh, in 75. Well, that's almost 13 years ago, so it's great. The mayor of the city of New York, Ed Koch, could not be here this morning, but he did ask me to make this presentation on his behalf to you. He's asked me to read the following message. On behalf of the city of New York, it gives me great pleasure to extend warm wishes to all in attendance for the inaugural flight of Zambia Airways. The maiden voyage of Zambia Airways is indeed significant. It reflects the commitment of the Zimbabwe government to promote tourism and economic development. The weekly round trips between countries are also sure to strengthen the ties between the U.S. and Zambia. May today's celebration be the start of something great to come between our two great countries. All the best, sincerely, Edward I. Koch, Mayor of the City of New York. And on behalf of the Mayor, I'd like to present this to you. Thank you very much.
We would like you, Mr. Harding, to convey our sincere thanks to the Mayor of the city for the warm words of welcome and indeed for the facilitation here at the airport. We are very happy to be on American soil, having traveled very comfortably on QZ 008 from Lusaka via Monrovia and onto JFK. We bring you friendly greetings from our head of state, His Excellency President Kaunda of Zambia, the party, the government, and the people of Zambia. We hope that with this flight to JFK, we would be able to strike a new note of cooperation, because I think there is need for the two countries, the two people, to understand one another, especially of the environment in which we operate. Economically, we feel that we stand to benefit from this, what I might term, part of the North-South cooperation. It is a typical example of North-South cooperation. In our country, we reckon that there are opportunities which exist by way of large-scale investment. And I think there is a challenge here for the investors in the United States to come to our country and invest, not only in tourism, but in many other economic ventures. Socially and culturally, there is a lot that both countries can offer to each other. Zambia is still untapped by way of developing, and I think we can learn quite a lot from the United States in that respect.
Have you learned that there's a...
General Chinkuli, Tourism Minister Leonard Subulwa, Zambian Ambassador to Washington Nalumina Mundia, and Captain Mulundika were here to promote Zambia and its national airline abroad. They cleared all doubts the newsmen at this briefing had.
Flight is here to stay. We haven't entered the American market just to pull out after a few months. We're here to stay, and in fact, we expect to add a second frequency towards the end of this year. Those of you in the airline industry know that one service, they say, is no service at all. But because of equipment constraints, we cannot operate more than one frequency for the time being. But come end of this year, you'll be seeing Zambia Airways flying into JFK twice in a week.
I came to the States sometime July last year, and the impression I got was that there is new thinking among tourists from the States. They would want to go to a place like Zambia, which is the real Africa, that provides what is a necessity to a tourist. First and foremost, the ecology. I think we take the ecology as being the most important factor in tourism promotion. If you went to the Victoria Falls, you will find that we have never tampered at all with the ecology of our natural tourist attractions. You will be able to see the Victoria Falls as the first explorer saw them in 1855.
We have, in fact, the biggest number of national parks in Africa, 39. No country in Africa has that number. And we have more species of rare species in Zambia than in any other African country. I'm sure you are aware also that the Victoria Falls is one of the 7 wonders of the world. The others are man-made. And in fact, the program which is coming, the minister has been working on, the Minister of Tourism, is the twinning of Niagara Falls with the Victoria Falls. What really purposes this is that an advancement by Niagara, they will mention Victoria Falls, and an advancement by Victoria Falls, they will mention Niagara. And as you know, over 10 million people visit Niagara every year. That will mean the 10 million people will be told about the Victoria Falls. And eventually the idea is to have the visiting exchange between the two biggest falls in the world.
As Captain Mulundika said, Zambia Airways flights to New York are here to stay. The Zambian flag will fly in the American airspace every week. On April 28, Zambia Airways hosted a cocktail reception for tour operators and businessmen at Waldorf Astoria Hotel. And senior airline officials welcomed the guests to the reception. Information about Zambia and its attractions was available to the guests. There was even a special pictorial display. The royal drums sounded again to give the lunch cocktail a real Zambian flavor. Mr. CSL of the CSL company, Zambia Airways Promotional and Advertising Agents in America, was the master of ceremony at the cocktail.
Tonight, in honor of the inauguration of service between Zambia and the United States, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Captain M. Guthrie Lunadika.
Good evening, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I feel greatly honored tonight to have you all here to celebrate the official inauguration of the Zambia Airways once-weekly flight from Lusaka to New York City, stopping in Liberia. Before I say much, I'd like to, first of all, acknowledge the presence in our midst of the Minister of Power, Transport and Communications of the Republic of Zambia, General Kingsley Chinkuli, who is out somewhere in that corner over there. I'd also like to recognize the presence of the Zambian Minister of Tourism, Mr. Leonard Sububa. And last but not least, the Deputy Minister of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Muzungu. I introduce these three gentlemen because their presence, I believe, lends support to the venture that Zambia Airways has taken. They are here to represent the government of the Republic of Zambia. As Mr.
Mr. Sisu, in his introductory remarks, said this is a new thing we're doing. We're not doing it just for the sake of doing it. We believe there is a need for a direct link between this great country and Eastern and Southern Africa. After Pan American pulled out of Monrovia, there really has been no service linking this part of the world and the part of the world where I come from. It was because of this, and because we have watched with interest recent developments in the air travel business in the United States. The Reagan administration has been in the forefront in liberalizing air travel, ensuring that the consumer gets quality service. It was because of this that we felt we would be serving the consumer better if there was a link between the United States and Eastern and Southern Africa, so that those of you who don't have a need to go to Europe before getting to Africa don't have to do that anymore with the introduction of this service. I hope we will be able to see you sometime in the very near future, if not in Zambia, but at least somewhere in that part of the world. And I hope when you do come, it will be on Zambia Airways. Thank you, and enjoy the evening.
Our next speaker.
The guest of honor was Mr. David Dinkins, President of the Borough of Manhattan.
President of the Borough of Manhattan, a borough of 1.5 million people.
On behalf of the more than 7 million residents of the city of New York and the 1.5 million residents of the Borough of Manhattan, I congratulate Zambia Airways on the occasion of the inauguration of the first and the only direct air service between Zambia and the United States. With this new service, as you've been told, not only will flight time be cut in half, the cost of a ticket will be reduced by several $100s. Moreover, Zambia Airways will be the first airline in Black Rules Africa to operate a direct flight between the United States and Southern Africa. Most importantly, this flight represents a direct link between the American people and the people of Southern Africa. As President of the Borough of Manhattan, home to the United Nations, I value the opportunity this service will provide to the American and African people. It will facilitate greater contact, and personal contact and exchange form the foundation upon which trust and understanding can be built. As the world's second largest continent, Africa has an important role to play in world affairs today. Stronger ties among the emerging nations of Africa and the United States can only serve to promote world cooperation and world peace.
Take your seat on Zambia Airways, amazing things start to happen. You find yourself comfortably stretching out in style. Charming, helpful stewardesses appear with drinks. You discover in-flight entertainment right there at your fingertips. And when you see our marvelous menu, your mouth starts to water. And you can fly direct to important international business and holiday destinations. North America, Asia, Europe, and non-stop all the way to London Heathrow.
There are new wings gracing Zambia's skies. With the acquisition of 2 brand new ATR-42 aircraft, we at Zambia Airways are moving into a new era of state-of-the-art aviation technology, an expanded network that includes reopening Zambia Airways services to Mongu, Mansa and Solwezi, and increased flights to existing domestic destinations, a service that will certainly satisfy the needs of Zambia Airways customers. Enjoy the comfort and low noise levels of the ATR-42, and you will surely know that the new has indeed come. For reservations and further information, contact your nearest Zambia Airways office or travel agent.